Yes, we are.
You can't sneak up on me anymore.
It's officially fall.
Yeah.
And this is only our second episode for September, which is a shame on us, but Stormy's busy. She's got to enlighten young academics.
Yes, we're trying to make the next batch of scholars here.
She's got to grade all their literally papers.
That keeps happening. And I'm like, guys, don't you see what it's funny to me because they don't catch that.
Yeah. At least it's just like the file name.
Yeah,
like at the end of the day, who really cares about file names?
I don't, but it's now becoming a thing since it happened more than once. So I'm gonna keep it up every year.
Yeah.
It's awesome.
But it is fall. My allergies have kicked in. I've got my tea in my Kim Jong-un Live, Laugh, Love mug.
Excellent.
So I'm sorry for my sultry, gravelly voice.
Yeah, it's very seductive this time around.
Just keep your pants on because you know how a real horror show feels about sex. Don't do it.
We don't like that. Abstinence or death.
Yep.
Basically.
Yep. You know what? Speaking of abstinence.
Yeah.
I feel like the whole plot of this movie we're reviewing could have been avoided if they just kept it in their pants.
You know what? That is so true. And you know what, guys, listeners, full disclosure, I was going through like a bunch of photos when I was watching this. So every time I looked up, the gist of what I got was basically what Sam just said. Abstinence should have occurred.
This week we're finishing up the Fear Street Trilogy with part 3, 1666.
Ooh.
This is the final installment, and it stars everybody from the first and second movie.
Yeah, just they're all mixed together.
Where we last left off, Deanna was somehow transported back to 1666. I'm gonna guess, and I didn't really allude to because I didn't want to spoil it when we were talking about the first episode, but I think she and Sarah Fier have a connection.
Yeah.
I don't necessarily think Dean's a reincarnation of Sarah Fier, but it's kind of that vibe.
Yeah, that's what I thought too whenever I noticed that she looked at herself in like the well water and it was her, and I was like, is it just a reincarnation? But maybe it is because of her love interest is also a woman.
Yeah. And so this movie picks up right where that one left off, where Deanna is now Sarah Fier in 1666.
Yeah.
And we see what really happened.
Yeah. This movie was pretty long again.
It was, I think it's the longest of the trilogy, I think.
Yeah, that's a lot.
Because it's not just 1666, it's also the conclusion of 1994.
Yes. Yeah, I didn't know that was going to happen because at a certain time it splits and it says part 2, but I feel like it does that when there's only like 45 minutes left. And I was like, oh, is there going to be, I just got kind of confused, but I was like, oh, the movie's not over yet. Okay, here we go.
Yeah, I agree. I didn't see that coming, which I probably should have, because you have to have a conclusion to 1994. Right. That's what the whole flashback movies are for.
Yeah.
But we can break this down into acting since we get a different vibe from all of the actors in this section. Let me scroll down to the cast.
All right.
Kiana Madeira as Sarah Fier / Dina. I liked her.
Yeah.
I think she and the girl who plays Sam / Hannah, I think they had more chemistry as these characters than they do as Dina and Sam.
I agree. From what I did notice when I was watching, yeah, I agree completely.
And that might just be because their relationship in the two parts are different. In 1994, they're a recently broken up couple.
Yeah.
And in this one, they're friends.
Yeah.
who become lovers.
Yeah.
So I thought their chemistry was a lot sweeter and cuter in this.
Yeah, I agree. And it really kind of raises the stakes a whole lot more because of the time period.
Yeah.
And everything like that.
Yeah. So this is 1666, probably New England. I don't know where else they would be having witch hunts in America at this time.
Yeah, I mean, aren't they in the same place because of the tree, or are they somewhere else? Okay.
It's the same place. And feel the need to talk about this tree.
Yeah. Let's do it.
I don't know if it's more of a story note, but the tree's a character. The tree is a character in these movies. I don't know any tree that is just like lived for 600 years other than the redwoods out in California.
Yes, and they are like enormous. So of course it's going to take a long time for them to reach maturity. And so that's why they live for a really long time, not this fucking regular tree.
Not this regular oak tree.
It's like an oak. Yeah, it's like an oak tree. So there's really no reason it should still be the same age as it was in 1666.
Yeah, and that it's even still standing in 1994.
Like, how was it able to survive at the mall? I'm not sure, but hey, you know.
But it works. You could say that it's Satan's tree.
It's Satan's tree because he kept it alive with evil.
And I forgot how good the actor who plays Tommy in 1978 is in this part, and that's why I liked him so much. Is his name is McCabe Sly. And I think he's very good.
Me too, because I even liked him when he was in the 70,
where he was the sweetheart boyfriend.
Yeah, but then he did have that huge turn where he was possessed, and I feel like with him being possessed, we got a lot more exposition on his character and how the possession takes place, instead of just in the first movie where it's just like we can't see what happens with the skull mask guy.
Yeah.
And I loved it. And I loved him even more because there's always that guy, you know, like that crazy, like faith fanatic who's just, and they call him like Mad, whatever the heck his name was.
Yeah. He's a very good actor, and I hope the best for his career.
Mm-hmm. He had like the best, I don't know what kind of accent they were trying to do, but
that was the next thing I was going to bring up is what accent you thought they were trying to accomplish with that. I thought it was Irish.
Yeah, you're probably right. It's probably like Irish or like Scottish or like Welsh, something like that, because of the people that settled in New England at the time. But whenever the movie opened, I was like, wait, why is this set in like Ireland right now? And I was like, oh, I guess it's just immigrants who came here.
Yeah, so if they're Irish Scotch, let's just assume they're Irish Scotch.
Yeah.
Because same thing, really.
Yeah.
No, don't cancel me.
I'm offended, Sam, because I'm Scotch Irish.
I am also Scotch Irish, so
then it's okay to say Sam. So yeah, basically the same.
I'm gonna guess I'm probably more Northern Ireland because dark hair runs in my family, not gingers.
Oh, so does that mean I'm South?
Yeah.
Irish?
Or whatever the flip is, in case I'm wrong.
Yeah.
Anyway, so if they're like Celtic settlers, let's just say Celtic.
Yeah, that's perfect.
That means they're probably, this whole thing takes place probably in like the Carolinas.
Oh,
maybe
that would probably make sense,
because that's where a lot of the Scottish and Irish settled, especially the Scottish, because they were reminded of their home in the Appalachian Mountains.
Mm-hmm. Nice.
It's all an Outlander.
Yeah, definitely. And like those details are actually like historically legit. So yeah, you're probably right, Sam.
I'm just gonna say that. Or they just gave them, like, told them to be like, not exactly British, but like some kind of accent to separate yourselves from your other characters.
Yeah, some kind of accent that's from Europe. Go.
Yeah. And we didn't get a lot of time with 1666 Ziggy and Cindy but they were there.
Yeah, they're just there.
And then the other notable character / actor is Solomon Goode, played by Ashley Zuckerman. I thought he was excellent in the role of Solomon Goode.
Yeah, me too. And that's the same one who's the cop.
Yeah.
Nice. He looked actually quite different with the wig and stuff.
He did.
He's got those crazy eyes though.
And I did like him, probably just because that's my type. So I was a little sad when the plot twist happened. But
he's good is evil.
I know.
Whoa.
Who would have ever thunk that?
Oh no.
What a twist. But yeah, let's get into story, because they're all the same actors, and I think they were good.
Me too. They did well. I think I preferred them because it was a little bit of a change of pace.
Yeah. This was definitely a good acting challenge for them. Again, I think McCabe Sly as Mad Thomas was really great.
Yes.
He just looked the part, did it so well. So we're in 1666. Witches are all the rage right now.
Yeah, for sure. But not being one is not cool, but it's all the rage to be mad at them.
Yeah. We are in the colony, not yet Shadyside, but it's going to be that one day. And Sarah Fier is just a good old girl living in her little colonized heaven.
Yeah.
With her dad. Their dad actually exists in this world.
Yeah, and her brother's there too. It's the same guy.
Her brother's there. And she has her best friend Hannah, they're both totally straight, just gals being pals.
Yeah. Just, making sure that everything's okay with the well water and the pigs giving the birth to other pigs and things like this.
But there's a party gonna go down during the full moon, as one does.
Right. What do they keep calling like the full moon? Like the moon rises at night or something like that? Yeah,
something like that. I think that's code for we getting lit tonight, bro.
Eat these berries.
Yeah, let me talk about Solomon for a second, because I guess it's implied that he's a widower. Who is probably going to get remarried to Sarah.
Yeah.
Which isn't necessarily a bad thing. They seem to get along very well. Very good friends. She gives him a baby pig.
Yeah.
And says it's her dowry, mostly as a joke, but her dad seems very pro. You gotta get married. And then they visit the widow, who's not evil at all.
Yes.
I've watched this movie twice now, and even today, I don't see the purpose of the widow other than like a red herring.
Right. Yeah, you're probably right.
So at the moonlight party, I thought this was hilarious because it's probably accurate, but just the idea that these kids are taking berries the way that we take LSD or Molly today,
right,
made me crack up. And I'm like, it's probably always been like that, but just a different hallucinogenic.
Right, yeah, just the berries, and they said just one bite.
And Hannah gets felt up by this gross guy.
Gross.
Sarah interrupts, and they all make fun of his boner.
Oh my god, yeah. I don't know why he like didn't notice his own boner. So yeah, it was like they were like pointed it out, and he's like, "What are you laughing at?" And I'll just run away. Be ashamed. The fuck?
Then Sarah and Hannah get a little frisky in the woods, and they get caught.
Oh no.
And during their frisky little romp, because of their frisky little romp, I mean, Hannah's dad is possessed by the devil and everything in the town goes to shit.
Yeah, basically. Man.
And we get a pretty grotesque scene of a mother pig ravaging her.
Yeah. Eating her little piglets.
Which happens in real life.
Yeah.
I don't. It is called ravaging, and I think it's when I don't know if the mother pigs, because rodents like hamsters or mice will also do this if they feel like the living conditions are more dangerous for their children than just dying. So I don't know if the mother pig would do the same in that situation. I know they do it. And so Sarah kills the mother pig.
Yeah. And there's like a dead thing in their water well. So now their well water is like not drinkable.
Yeah.
And like all these bad things start to happen. And I'm like, oh, geez.
Yeah. And Sarah's mom somehow found out about the makeout session, probably from Mad Thomas, who caught them making out.
Right.
And Hannah's blaming herself because their dad is acting weird. Smash cut to what I think is one of the most haunting scenes in all three of these movies.
Yeah.
Inside the church. The pastor has gouged out the eyes of himself and all of the children.
Oh God. Yeah. So
that was pretty
yeah, that was gnarly.
It was pretty dark and heavy, so trigger warning, more child death.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that is a thing, huh? It's becoming a thing in these movies.
And even Sarah's brother was one of these kids.
Yep, he died.
And I have a question about like what a pile of eyeballs is supposed to look like.
Oh God.
Because
probably deflated.
Because I feel like there weren't enough eyeballs in that pile.
I see. Yeah.
Huh, you see.
Yeah. You know what I mean? Oh, that's so funny.
So there's a trial, kind of. Sarah and Hannah are declared to be witches, and they go on a hunt for them. Dina tries to take shelter with Solomon Goode and discovers along the way he's the witch. He's the one that made the deal with the devil.
Oh no, Goode is evil. Extreme evil.
Excuse me, I had to take a huff of Vicks.
No problem.
And he's like, I love you so much. And she still like, tries to kill her.
Right. She's like, oh no.
And we find out that she didn't cut off her hand. He did.
Damn it.
And she left it there trying to save herself. She manages to escape in a scene that calls back to 1978 when Cindy's trying to get out of there. But she doesn't make it far before Solomon catches her, and she and Hannah are about to be hanged, and she takes the blame for everything. But before she's hanged, she places a curse on Solomon Goode, saying that she will always be with him. And the truth will come out one day.
Right. Yes.
And we also find out that it was her friends that moved her body from the original burial place.
I see.
Back to 1994, where they Scooby gang it up with some water bottles.
Yeah.
A very clever plan to lure all the ghosts to the mall with Dina's blood, and then carry Sheriff Goode.
Yes.
So that the ghosts go after him, killing him, thus ending the curse.
Yes.
But that doesn't go according to plan. When he escapes, Dina chases him down back through the cave system. And we see the gross beating heart of the devil again. Yeah. Which I love.
Me too. That thing is gross.
He touches the heart, I think. And that's what like brings all the ghosts back.
That's what seals the curse that Sarah had put on him in the beginning, or in the not the beginning, the end of part 1 of part 3.
Yeah. So he touches it and is haunted by all the people who've died because of him. And then his life is brought to a tragic end when Sarah, through Dina, or maybe just Dina, gets left to interpretation, stabs him in the eye.
In the eye, yes. Rest in peace.
And it all comes out that he's been responsible for all the murders in town.
Yeah, they're basically all sacrifices that his family has been doing for 300 years to keep that gross heart beating underground. So they remain like super like powerful individuals in Summerside. Summerdale.
Sunnydale.
Yep. Sunnyside and Shadyside. I wish it was called Sunnyside and Shadyside. That would be funny, but I understand.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And I think that's the gist of it. Everybody has a happy ending.
Yeah.
It ends on a very beautiful imagery of Sam and Dina kissing among all the red moss.
Yeah.
Which is very autumnal. Autumnal.
Autumnal.
Yeah, autumnal.
Absolutely, it is.
Overall, I understand that they couldn't just not end it with 1666.
Right.
Because you need to have, the full conclusion with the 1994 cast.
Yeah, that allowed it to come full circle. But like, honestly, whenever I was watching 1666, because it's been a while since you and I watched the first one, I like kind of forgot that we needed to like revisit that. Because I was like, oh yeah, there are loose ends that we need to tie up. So once it did part 2, I was like, okay, now I get it. Like there's still other stuff other stuff that has to be said before we're done.
Yeah. I liked the 1666 half. I think 1978 is still my favorite. I like 1666 above 1994.
Yeah,
probably.
That is probably also my like hierarchy of films. That's my rating too.
Because 1666, I think it wasn't trying to adhere to a time period that we have nostalgia for.
Yeah.
So I think it had the best score out of all the movies.
Oh my God, yeah, I wanted to talk about that, but I'm gonna wait until it's time. Yeah.
And like I said, I think Hannah and Sarah have better chemistry than Dina and Sam. Like, I don't think Sarah would ever throw a cooler of ice at Hannah.
Their relationship was more romantic, in my opinion.
Even though really they were just friends until they got high on berries and made out.
Yeah. The berries.
And I liked Solomon as a character a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Like, he was a cool dude until he wasn't.
Yeah, I know, right?
Like, even when Sarah was confiding in him about what happened in the woods, he was like, it was just a dalliance with Hannah.
Yeah.
Like, he was chill with it until she was like, no, I love her.
Right.
I can't do voices right now.
He's like, no, I'm the devil.
Yeah. I don't know. It was very good, and I think it would have been a good standalone movie.
It would have been, huh? I agree too. Because like the whole time I was like, yeah, I understand why we need this background, but also the element of the slasher was kind of like not present until we went back to part 2, back to the 90s.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The only slasher element we got was when the pastor gouged out the eyes of the children, and that wasn't, speaking of slasher.
Yeah. That was my phone ringing.
That wasn't like a huge part of it.
Right.
But it was a good little crucible story about how history is written by the winners. So Sarah's reputation was tarnished and rewritten by the Goode family to make her the bad guy, so they could continue putting the blame on her.
Yeah.
Instead of, so people wouldn't suspect them.
Exactly. Yeah. And it all makes sense after you watch all that.
I think the trilogy did what a regular 90-minute slasher movie or like paranormal movie tries to do, which is there's something spooky going on, let's go to the library and rapid fire all this folklore.
Right.
Amityville Horror comes to mind.
Yeah.
So instead of just doing it in 90 minutes, they gave everything a fleshed out story. And I really like that. I like this concept for a horror series.
I do too.
And the director said that they'd be interested in doing more. And there's a lot of the ghosts that appeared in the last half of this movie that I'd love backstories for.
Me too, especially Ruby Lane. The girl.
Love Ruby Lane. There was a guy in an armadillo mask. I want to know his story.
What about the little kid with this scary mask that was
the
like
little
a face?
kid? The little kid story would be absolutely tragic.
I know, it's fucking shocking.
I'd be interested in more movies that take place in this universe. I don't know if they would feel the same.
Right.
Outside of the trilogy, since, we know everything.
Yeah.
But still, it would be cool to see those stories also told.
Yeah, absolutely.
Moving on to production, because I do have notes, and I know you want to talk about the music.
I do. Let's talk about that first, just so I don't forget my thoughts.
Yeah.
But while I was watching it, I like the one thing I did like say and think, because a lot of the times I was kind of like looking away from the screen, but when I was doing so, it was backed up by that score. And I was like, hey, like, obviously they can't have like, pop hits, of the 70s playing. But I was like, this score is working for me because of the time period. It was actually very, very good. It wasn't like something silly. Mm-hmm. It was working. And then, but then we do cut back to part 2, and it immediately all begins again with the pop hits of the 90s. So, but yeah, the score in 1666, this is what I want for like every other part, every other movie.
Yeah, no, I thought it was a very beautiful score. Definitely fit the mood. It wasn't distracting. It enhanced the mood of the scenes.
Yeah, I agree. It really did.
I liked it a lot. My one like critique for production kind of falls in the same realm of what I critiqued with 1978, is that they did desaturate the colors a bit. Yeah. But they could have done maybe a little more. Okay. I remember, it's been a while since I watched The Witch, but that had a very desaturated color palette.
Oh yeah, it did. Everything was just like paled out.
Like not black and white, but
just washed out.
Not bright.
Not bright. No life, no vibrancy.
Yeah. Made it feel really cold.
Yeah.
Or even if they did something like Tim Burton's Sleepy Hollow, where it's also desaturated except for the blood.
Right. Yes.
So just like little things like that would have helped enhance the mood. And I think they did a better job in this part than they did with 1978, because like I said, the colors were slightly desaturated.
Right. Agreed.
Trying to think if there was anything else with production. The eye gouging scene was good. We didn't actually see that happening, but we saw the aftermath, and so all that makeup was very well done and creepy.
Yeah, for sure it was. I feel like in this part, in the latter half of this one, we get a kind of a better view of what's happening with like the beating heart that's underground. I guess it's kind of reminiscent of Poe's Telltale Heart because it's underneath the floor of the mall or something. Sorry, we just did some literally analysis and everybody chooses that story, so it's just in the forefront of my brain at all times. But
if any of Jacqueline's students are listening, we're not making fun of you.
Yeah, I hope they're not listening. But we get to see it better. It's like more black. There's flies everywhere, and we get to see a bit of it more zoomed in. And I was like, oh, that thing is back. Here he is. So that's always like a cool, and it works because it's not bad CGI, and it's just enough for the movie for that kind of a thing.
And it looked gross. Like I wouldn't want to touch it.
Yeah, it looks like shocking. And you're like, what the fuck?
Yeah, and that's a very nice connection you've made to the Telltale Heart.
Hey, yeah, I feel like a good podcaster. I just made a literally analysis.
Yeah, that was beautiful. That's why people tune into Real Horrorshow,
because Real Horrorshow is literally analysis.
for your yawns and my gravelly voice.
I know. I'm so sorry.
God, imagine if this is someone's first episode that you're listening to.
Oh my God. I'm sorry, everybody, but it's just really been a week. But here I am, and here is Sam, and we are here.
We're finally here to wrap this shite up.
Yeah, we're finally wrapping it up, and I'm pretty excited to move on to whatever will be coming next. But I don't want to get ahead of myself. I don't think I have any other notes for production, really.
Yeah. Overall, I'd say the trilogy is very good. I think people should watch them. I'd say they fall in line with Scream for me.
They do.
Where they're good, like introductory horror films. Not the scariest, but they're fun, and which makes them good for people who aren't really into horror.
Yeah. And there's so many nods to Scream, because when I was watching, the latter half of part 3, the knife that they have is like almost identical to the knife that Ghostface uses, that like big, you know, hunting knife or whatever the hell it is. And I was like, whoa, that's like the same knife. And then also the character of Solomon Goode, you know, it's like the guy kind of love interest, but suddenly he turns out to be the evil, you know, murderer, and you're just like, oops, I almost married that guy. So it's almost like a Billy Loomis type situation there a little bit.
Yeah, I can see that.
You know what I mean? Yeah, so that's a couple things.
Yeah. I mean, you can't really watch these movies on their own, but part 3 gets it was good.
That fucked me up.
It was good. Just watch them closer together than we did. Otherwise, you'll be confused when 1994 part 2 pops up.
Yeah, because then you're like, wait, part 2, and then you're like, okay, we're still watching the movie. Still got more time to go. So
but yeah, kind of a shorter episode, but it's fine. I've been not sick, but allergened.
Yeah, she's suffering from the sickness from the allergies, and I'm suffering from the sickness from being tired.
The friend who I was cutting apples with messaged the group chat in the morning asking if anyone had any leftover at home COVID tests.
Oh man.
And I was like, I'm pretty sure we don't have COVID because we wouldn't all get the exact same symptoms at the exact same time.
Yeah.
After cutting 50 apples.
From outside.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's allergies for sure.
Yeah, and I was closely monitoring my temperature and my sense of taste and smell. Because the worst part of COVID, I think we've talked about this in the early days of COVID, is the symptoms for it are the exact same as seasonal allergies. Except for the loss of taste and
the fever.
The fever.
Yeah.
So
yeah, and you're just like, oh no.
So taking my temperature twice a day.
Nice.
Wearing a mask anyway. Just, it sucks because now my voice is going to sound like this for like 3 years.
Damn.
And it sucks.
Listeners.
It really sucks because I have a play premiere in 2 weeks in Columbus, Ohio at MadLab Theater. Tickets available now.
Yeah, tickets available now. Go buy them and check out Sam's Instagram.
Yeah. I'm very excited, very terrified. But we'll see if people like it.
Oh yeah, I'm so excited. That's my favorite play that you've written.
Thank you.
And will always and forever be my favorite.
And you can't come because Luke started a new job.
I know, I can't come because like I'm sitting over here like, oh, I am like tired. Oh geez. And then I'll be like, oh geez, should I buy a room or something? But there's so many elements that go into me not being able to go, and I would love to go, Sam. I really would.
I know you would.
But I will be supporting you that night from afar. Break a leg. I know you're not an actor, but still, you're in the show. You're in showbiz. So break a leg.
Yep.
And the realistic aspects of all this is just all the realistic stuff that's happened in it.
Yeah. The witch trials, those were scary.
Yeah. There's like the witch trials, having like being caught and being outed for your sexuality when you're like not allowed to express that. Having like a crazy boyfriend who made a deal with the devil, that sucks.
Yeah, he wasn't even her boyfriend. Like having a guy who you're friendly with be like, oh, I love you so much, I made a deal with the devil for you.
Jeez, and you're like, whoa, fucking crazy guy over here. So yeah, that's not cool, but can really happen, probably, I'm sure. Yeah, and then everything else that happened and all the other ones that we discussed, everything coming full circle, curses, living in two different neighborhoods that are separated by class issues, stuff like this, all realistic aspects.
Having a dad that's just like never at home.
Ugh, just an absentee father.
But I think that's it. You know what? I'll go ahead and announce it because it is kind of exciting.
Okay.
Turbo Cola, which is based on my play New Year's Eve at the Stop and Go, is accepted at the South Texas International Film Festival, which Stormy pointed out earlier is very specific yet very broad.
Yes, like it's South Texas, but it's also the whole world is invited. So like, okay.
So that is exciting. But we'll leave it at that.
Yes, we'll leave it at that. Sam and I discussed it. And then, so excellent. We've wrapped up the Fear Street Trilogy at long last. And then by the time you guys listen to this, it's going to be creeping into October. Whoa. That means Sam and I need to have that talk again about our Halloween special and what it's gonna be.
Well, we can't review the next Halloween because we already did that.
Yeah, we did. So we're gonna have to do another Halloween or something. We'll just talk about what we would like to do.
Yeah. Just pull up the end notes.
Yes. All right, I've got the end notes. All right, everybody, listeners, I hope everybody's ready to end the podcast episode because we are late tired. All right. Horrorshow out. Real Horrorshow is created by Sam Odie and Stormy Skies and is directed by Sam Odie. Today, we learned that you should not make a deal with you should practice abstinence because that will avoid any like evil occurring.
Had Mad Thomas not caught Hannah and Sarah
drugs.
Making out. Yeah, don't eat hallucinogenic berries.
Yeah, and you know what? I take back what I said about there being like no like slasher elements present because that's like an issue is like, you know, having sex or doing drugs is going to lead to someone's demise and it does eventually lead to her death in a roundabout way. So there's no slasher killer present, but those are rules of the slasher movie. Anyway. Yes, so don't have sex because you'll die. Don't do drugs because you'll die. Anyway, like what you hear, you can find Real Horrorshow on Spotify, TuneIn, Google Play Store, Stitcher, iTunes, and Pandora. Really, really like what you hear? Follow us on Twitter @HorrorShowPod or search for Real Horrorshow on Twitter. Follow us on Facebook @Real Horrorshow. Like our page and share our stuff. We also have a website that all of our written reviews and podcasts can be found, realhorrorshow.com. Want to interact with us? Want to make sure we're real humans and not space vampires? Comment on our website or email us at realhorrorshowpodcast@gmail.com. Want to argue with us about something or think you have a really great horror movie review that you're dying to share with two random strangers from the internet? Submissions are open for movie reviews. Check out the submit page on our website and follow the rubric before sending us anything. If it's not done according to the rubric, it will be disregarded. Sorry, not sorry. We love horror, and if you're listening, you do too. Please help us keep our project going by visiting our support page on our website, where you can make a one-time donation via PayPal. We also have an Amazon wish list. If you feel like buying us something tangible will help convey your love more than a monetary donation would. Also, you can find the Buy Us a Coffee button on our website. It's a button you can click that will pay us the amount you would need to buy a coffee. A little bit goes a long way. Sometimes we can't help out artists monetarily, and that's okay. By simply liking, sharing, retweeting, and even giving us an awesome review will help us out tremendously. And Sam already made 2 announcements, but is there any other pertinent news?
I don't think so. Do you have any publications?
No, other than the thing that happened in August with the slasher studies thing. No, dude, I have not had time to do any cool stuff, but I've just been publishing those literally analysis essays grades lately, though.
Nice.
You know what I mean? Anyway, yep, I'm getting stuff published every day on Blackboard. All right. So, as we're speaking, yesterday was the first day of fall.
Yeah.
And it's soon going to be October. It's spooky season, everybody. That's my news. Other than that, our outro song is called Creepy Doll by Jonathan Colton. Thank you, fuck off, and have a swell evening. And this is Real Horror Show signing off.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
And there's a creepy doll that always